So let's round out our Monday movie mini-series that I've been doing with some movies that we watched to ring in the new year, because today is, well, the day you're watching this is the Monday right before 2025. So it's the last Monday of 2024. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, technically 7 movies here. So we're going to start with the low-hanging fruit. And these are just movies that our family watches to ring in the new year. We could watch this New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. We've got something new coming up this year that we're going to do this year just because it's kind of special. But I'm going to start with the low-hanging fruit. New Year's Eve, obviously. This is an ensemble cast movie. If you've seen Valentine's Day, this one I think was the first one they made. But, oh gosh, who else in this movie? We've got Jessica Biel, Halle Berry, John Bon Jovi, Abigail Breslin, Robert De Niro, Josh Duhamel, Zac Efron, Katherine Heigl, Ashton Kutcher, Seth Meyers, Lea Michele, Sarah Jessica Parker, Michelle Pfeiffer, Hilary Swank, Sofia Vergara. So, a ton of people in this movie. It takes place on New Year's Eve in New York City. So, like, there's a whole storyline about, like, the ball dropping. One of the things I really like about this movie, and even Mom watches this one, she's not big into romances, but we really like the crisscrossing of all the storylines and how all of these stories interconnect. I don't know. I do really, really like this one. We watch it every year. We really do. It's a good one. The next one is maybe a childish one. High School Musical, because the first sequence of scenes happens on New Year's Eve, you know. Zac Efron again in this one and Vanessa Hudgens meet on New Year's Eve. And so I feel like this one definitely has the New Year's Eve feeling in it, at least at the very beginning. And I don't watch these movies all the time. When we watched this one for New Year's Eve, we really only watched the first one. I don't know that I've ever made Mom watch the second one or the third one. But when we watch it for New Year's Eve, we watch the first one for sure. The third movie, is called The Cutting Edge with Dee Dee Sweeney and Moira Kelly. This one is about an Olympic figure skater and an Olympic hockey player. This one, there is a New Year's Eve scene in this movie, but so I like to watch this one. Mom is not a fan of this one, and I'm not sure why she doesn't like it, but I like to watch this one every year for New Year's Eve. Emma likes it too. I think bonus points if you watch this on a year where you're preparing for the Winter Olympics. We're not this year, but we watch it anyway. I love this one. I really do. The main character is almost kind of unlikable at the beginning, but then you kind of grow to understand her, and I don't know. I really love this story, but I love, you know, Olympic movies, and there's a whole genre of movies like Cool Runnings, but this one's not quite so funny. It is kind of funny, but this one, again, is a romance movie. So it's not overtly New Year's Eve-y, but it is winter-y, and there is a New Year's Eve scene in it. So this one, to me, counts. Up next, we have another one that has a New Year's Eve scene. And when I was looking for, like, through our collection, I was looking for New Year's Eve movies. This one actually stood out to me. I was like, it's actually a really good movie. Forrest Gump. You could watch this anytime, obviously. You watch any of these anytime. I mean, probably won't watch New Year's Eve anytime that's not New Year's Eve, but this one definitely has a New Year's Eve scene. It's kind of a tragic movie, but it's also a wonderful movie. It's a really good film. It's a longer one, I think. Yeah, 141 minutes. We don't watch this one every New Year's Eve, but it does, I think, count as a New Year's Eve movie because there is the New Year's Eve scene. So anyway, this one, I'm counting. Next, I want to tell you about some movies that have nothing to do with New Year's Eve, but they are movies that we will watch every year on New Year's Day. And this is our new, like, family tradition. So if you know anything about me, you know that I really enjoy Lord of the Rings. We like to do a Lord of the Rings marathon. Think Hobbit Day on New Year's Day. So traditionally, Hobbit Day is September 22nd because that is Bilbo and Frodo's birthdays. I think it's really hard to do a Hobbit Day marathon in September. And to do it on New Year's Day. New Year's Day. We have the day off work. We've got all of the food in the house for the holiday. We might as well theme it around something, and we get to eat and drink and relax and enjoy because we have the day off work, nowhere to be, no obligations at all. And it works really well for us and for our family. So we've been watching Lord of the Rings on New Year's Day for the past several years, and we're looking forward to doing it again this year. And now, this that I'm holding in my hand, this was a Christmas gift from Anthony. This is the 4K Ultra HD versions of the theatrical and the extended editions of the movies. So we may have to watch the 4K versions this year if we can get the 4K player set up. So we will see. But this is one of our family traditions, and I love it. I love getting to watch these movies because I just love the movies. They're so good. And you really do need to dedicate a whole day if you're going to do the marathon, especially if you're watching the extended editions. Plan to start early and plan for it to be all day long. So the last movie I want to talk about that we are going to be adding to our rotation this year, something we are going to start watching this year on New Year's Eve, and that's Wicked. Because Wicked, it was announced like really recently, Wicked is going to start streaming on streaming platforms on New Year's Eve, and I am so excited because we watched it 4 times in the theaters, or I watched it 4 times in the theaters, and I loved it. I loved the movie. I loved the music. I think the casting of the movie was spectacular. I am so excited that it's going to be available in my home very, very soon. Very, very soon. So that's something we're going to be adding to our rotation this year. We're going to watch that on New Year's Eve. And when I told Anthony that it's going to start streaming on New Year's Eve, he said, can we watch that and time it so that if you've seen it, if you haven't seen it, I'm not going to say, but if you've seen it, you know something that happens at the very end of part 1 is happening at the very end of the movie. He's like, can we time it so that happens at midnight, so we've got the fireworks outside happening at the same time as this thing is happening on the TV in the living room, and then immediately we can go to bed. I'm like, yeah, I love that idea. So we have a plan in place for New Year's Eve, and I'm really excited about it. I do have to work on New Year's Eve. I have the day off on New Year's Day, so we can marathon Lord of the Rings, which is great. But I'm really excited, and I wanted to share our New Year's Eve movies because lots of people talk about Christmas movies. I'm one of them, but we do have, a solid little handful of New Year's Eve movies that we watch, or movies that are focused on the new year, and then like our family traditions, So anyway, I think this video is going to be slightly shorter. You're welcome. I'm going to do what I try to do most of the time. And if I can find links to these movies, I will link to them. And I'll go a step further because I know that the holiday's coming up, and if you want to watch any of these but you can't get the DVD in time, I'm also going to note where you can stream it, if you can stream it. So look for that in the description box. But I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much for hanging out with me this year. 2024 has been a blast. I've had a wonderful time, and I feel like I'm finally catching my stride with, like making content for YouTube and having a great time. But I'm gonna leave the goals, resolutions, reflections for another video, and you guys will see me in that video very soon. Bye for now. Have a wonderful, happy new year.